Hi, everybody. Um, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm not completely prepared this morning. I have a little bit of a message, but I don't have I don't have a good trivia question prepared. I slept in a little bit, which is kind of messes up my rituals and my traditions and my organization. But it is morning. It's the beginning of the week. Hey, Marty, you. Um, so I talked a little bit about accountability and goals last week. Now, on Monday of last week, which seems like a long time ago, I basically promised, I made a commitment to you, my audience, that I would be finished with my novel, making the corrections in my novel, and by Friday. Um, Now, there are a lot of reasons and a lot of excuses that I have for not completing that. But really, what happened was I made that commitment and then I didn't think about it until Wednesday. Good morning, Alan. And then it turned out that it was going to take longer than I thought it was going to take to do the work. And so I put it off. I mean, that's what happened. I put it off, and then I started working on it. And as I said last night, because I was still working on it, the pile of pile of pages that needed to be corrected, didn't seem to get any smaller. So, so I mean, here's the way to approach that, right? I mean, here's the way I need to approach it. There's a part of me that really wants to feel very guilty about it and shamed and not talk about it and sweep it under the rug and say, okay, never mind. I said that I was going to do that, but it's okay. I didn't do it, and nobody cares really. And that's not the way to look at it. It's also important not to sort of don't pretend it happened, but also don't beat myself up about it too much. I mean, it's important to acknowledge that I didn't do what I said I was going to do, and to recommit to it. But I think it's very destructive. I've always thought that guilt seemed to be a very destructive emotion, not a very useful one. Like I think it's useful in a tribal way to keep people from killing other people. And Hi, Mom. It's very important to do that. Oh, Pete Parachi's here. Excellent. Um, so, but you also don't want to just say, "Oh, they didn't hit my goal. It doesn't matter." So it doesn't matter. So anyway, I'm trying to figure out some sort of way of sort of calibrating in between those things. But I can commit to changing my deadline. I'm going to finish all of my corrections on my manuscript for my book, and I'll finish that by Wednesday morning. Wednesday morning, day after tomorrow, I will report that it's done. Um, my dog is attacking me. My dog is very insistent about his needs being met, and he needs to have his butt scratched. And I don't mean his butt. I mean the area above his tail, and he has to have that done. Now my other dog is very upset that anybody else gets attention, so he's bothering me. So that's the way life works here in the household. So anyway, I am recalibrating my goals. I'm not happy about the fact that I do, and I'm trying to not be ashamed of that. I want everybody to please go forth. Do not give up. Do not despair. If your candidate did not win the election, if you're looking around and seeing that things seem to have been released, perhaps it's better that things that existed before in terms of racism and sexism and were being hidden, are now out in the open. I had a friend a long time ago who worked in the civil rights office up in Washington State, and it was his job to sort of seek out and investigate racism and reports of racism in the workplace. And he said that it was very, very difficult because people kept it hidden and didn't talk about it, and knew that it was something that they needed to keep hidden, even though they felt it. And I think, and I have to say that this guy, his name, he had the unlikely and kind of ridiculous name for his job of Whitey. His name was Whitey Shapiro. Great guy, very funny. So that might be one thing that sort of comes out of some of the stuff that I've been hearing about, some of the very worst kinds of attitudes that might be exposed like a soft white underbelly. And how does that relate to me? Well, when you don't reach your goals and you admit it, it's like exposing your soft white underbelly, the slimy one. And by being honest and sort of being accountable is a way to, if you're not accountable, then you keep things hidden, then you won't make any progress. You have to be honest with yourself. Honest. You also, I think my failing in not reaching my goal there was that I set a goal and then I forgot it. And I did not take into account, I didn't count how many pages I had left to go through and set a daily goal. I mean, these are all things that need to happen in order for you to reach any kind of goal. I'm going to leave you with one final little story that I heard in a podcast. A story from John Assaraf, I think is his name. And he talked about a mentor that really saved his life. He was basically in a gang and a juvenile delinquent, barely graduated from high school. And now he's a billionaire, of course, or a multimillionaire. He started several companies, and he's really interested in the brain and the way it works in terms of changing our behavior and the way we live. But very quick story. He's 19. He's got this new mentor. The mentor says, okay, I want you to set a bunch of goals and write down things that you want to do in the next year, in 2 years, in 5 years, in 25 years. Something that I thought, oh, God, I really need to write these things down. I need to do that. So he took a really long time, like a day or a weekend, and he wrote them all down, and he took them to his mentor, and the mentor said, looked at them and said, these are great. Now let me ask you something. Are you interested in these goals, in reaching these goals? Or are you committed to reaching these goals? And John said, what's the difference? And he said, well, if you're interested in reaching these goals, then everything that you do that comes up will maybe get in the way, and you'll have problems, and they'll say, oh, well, that happened, and this happened, and so I didn't reach these goals, like I just did this morning. Or that's what happened this week. I couldn't work on it Tuesday night. I was watching the election. My son was in a play. I had to go see it. I had a friend who had a birthday party. I had to go to that. I couldn't get it done. I had work to do. If you're committed to getting something done, then nothing happens. I mean, that gets in the way. You're committed. It's going to happen. You have a commitment. I think there's some relationships between what I'm saying and where we are and what people might be thinking about this situation that we're in politically. I'm sure I have lots of friends who are upset about the election, but it was an election and it's over. We have a new president and we have a new Congress. And the nice thing, if there is a nice thing about being in a democracy, is you get to vote again. And again and again and again and again. You get to affect the government in your little way. I think that we need to figure out, I think, how to all get on the same page as a country. I'm not sure how to do that. I've mentioned this before, but the thing that came out of the election for me was that people are confused, or not confused. People are they're not misinformed. They're informed by completely different things. So we can't agree on reality. We can't agree on what has really happened, or even what the facts are, because in my mind, I mean, I'm looking at my bubble, and it seems like my bubble has got, journalistic ethics. It seems like it. Maybe I'm wrong. I certainly know that I'm seeing the world through a certain lens, but I know that some of the people in this country, from the right and the left, are getting the information from sources that are not credible, and it's tough. I mean, this is not really a new thing. I think the balkanization, the fact that we can get information that we only care about from one source, I think that's an issue, and that's a new issue caused by the internet, and by the fact that you can seek out what you agree with to such a degree. But really, you think back about what Hearst did with the. I wonder what that sounded like. What Hearst did, or if you can hear me, what Hearst did with the Spanish-American War, basically getting us into the Spanish-American War with his newspapers because he wanted to, because it sold papers. I mean, I'm sure that's a vast generalization, but really, we haven't had an objective press in this country for most of the time. And when we did, it was the result of, I think, Edward R. Murrow deciding that television was going to be his news was going to be objective, as he sat there telling you what exactly was going on, smoking a cigarette. Can you imagine? It's just crazy, right? So he had an idea, and he made it happen. But for the most part, throughout history, the press has had, an agenda, either right or left or what have you, and they've reported different things. So it's important to realize that, and to sort of seek out other sources of information. So when you're right, you're not all right. Again, it comes back to self-righteousness. So self-righteousness is really the enemy. So we're going to circle all the way back. So when you have a goal and you don't reach it, don't let self-righteousness keep you from admitting that. And reach out and say, I didn't get it done. Here's my new commitment. So that's what I did. I did not get my book done. Here's my new commitment. It's going to be done by Wednesday morning. Wednesday morning, I'm going to come to you and I'm going to say, look, it's done. And I'm going to say, who wants to read it? Okay, so I need to have a good trivia question. I don't have one, so I'm not gonna give it to you. I'm not sure even what the last trivia question was. It's been such a crazy week. I'll tell you that the country that produced the second biggest empire of all time was, in fact, Mongolia. Mongolia. Genghis Khan. Man, oh man, right? So that's incredible. And Mongolia is currently in the middle of Russia and China. It does not touch Kazakhstan. It is like 100 miles from the edge of Kazakhstan, but it doesn't touch it. These are things you learn when you look at Wikipedia. I want everybody to have a wonderful day. Thank you for listening to my rambling ramble. Ramble, ramble, ramble. Have a great day. It's really your biggest assignment. Bye. Oh, it won't stop.